Kids, like one of the things I
plan for observing and assessing children. It's really embedded into my lesson plans. In the summer, there's a lot of critical thought when I'm forward thinking. How are we going to get all of the domains covered so that children, we're covering all of the preschool learning foundations for language and for math, and what are all the motor skills. So I do a lot of forward planning and in mapping those out, and it's something that's fluid. It obviously changes throughout the year as you see what children are interested in, as you see what children's skill levels are. We have clipboards in our classroom where we can take open-ended notes for the things that we're seeing. And then in small groups or during specific activities where the children don't know that they're being assessed per se on anything, but we might be looking at 3 or 4 or up to 7 different aspects of assessment, and it really does combine nicely together. Many times when we're doing an activity, I'm looking at a language piece, and I'm looking at a motor piece, and I'm looking at an academic piece, which may be a math concept or some other concept.
What we've learned so far. Together, Fisher.
I definitely use the observations when I see that we still need a lot of phonological awareness and alphabet knowledge. I will tie that into the unit that we're discussing for the week. So this week is oceans. I have games that we're going to be doing and activities as far as phonological awareness, clapping out sounds of ocean animals, and we'll also be doing some rhyming. I'll have some rhyming books, 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish, and they'll be able to identify the same sounds. And we're also going to be doing alphabet knowledge. We have also another fishing activity where they're going to fish for letters. So that way I can see, and they get to name the letters when they pull it out. Oh, A, I just fished for an A. Oh, I fished for a C. So that way they're identifying that.
6, 7.
When I'm doing the Pictionary words, that would be a good time for you to get that print awareness too, because they're recognizing those letters and they're recognizing different words that I'm talking about in the pictures.
The jellyfish are
For individualization, you're able to see where the children are and what they still need to work on. And from the individualization, you can also tie it into the home visits and the conferences, and you can work on those as goals with the parents.
So your work at home is paying off too.
She's really come along.
I'm on the same page. We meet once a week. We talk about what goals that were worked on for the previous week, what worked, what didn't work, what new strategies we want to try. And if that particular goal that we were working on with that child worked, we move on with the next goal. The majority of the time it's the morning, and we'll discuss what happened the previous day, what worked, what didn't work, what activities we're going to put out for that specific day. If anything changed, what child she's going to be working with that day, what child I'm going to be targeting that day, if she's going to do the camera or the notebook, and we'll take turns with that.
ready to draw their ocean picture. And
We just do notes, observations, that kind of thing. We're fortunate because we have a computer program where we can enter the observations, and it does all these tallies for us, so we can see how many observations in all the areas that we have. So we try to observe with social emotional, we try to observe math, social studies, arts, language arts, and so we kind of go back the next day, and then we're intentional about watching that child and writing down some things that they're doing and observing. I think it's real easy. If you don't have some kind of system of making sure you're getting everybody, it's easy to overlook somebody. And you'd think, oh, I'm a teacher, I'd never overlook, I know what they're doing, you know, but if you don't have some kind of checklist. So we have the computer checklist, and then we also have, like, it's just a simple chart, you know, it's got all their names on it, and we just check off when we do observations for them so that we can make sure that we're hitting everybody. And then as a team, when we do our lesson plans, we kind of sit through and go through what we've seen, what the kids are interested in. Even though I think that I know what they're doing, sometimes they surprise me. And so I think it's really important
To have a system where you actually are making sure you are seeing every child and you are giving every child an opportunity to show you what they can do.
It's about balancing. It's like you got to balance time with the kids, you got to balance time with the paperwork, balance time with the parents, balance time with administration, balance time with the computer, and so it's like a continual juggling act. But once you get a flow of it, there's a way that it can be a happy equilibrium.
They develop a system that works for each individual classroom, teacher, or team so that they're able to collect the necessary observations and then proceed taking anecdotal observations. So there's so much happening throughout the day that teachers feel comfortable, first of all, in developing some sort of time during the day, making the time to collect the observations. When you're interacting with them, engaging with them, you're able to write down what you see. So it's important to have that system of anecdotal observation continuously. And then if you want to divide, depending on your class size and how many in your team, who's going to do what, so that by the end of the week you're able to look back and see, wow, we've gotten so many observations, we're able to plan accordingly. So we see the children moving along in the continuum.
Yeah, that ocean water has salt in it. It's salt water.
Good job.